Hello everyone, how you guys doing today? Hope you guys are having a good day. Today I'm going to be making one of my favorite dishes. I don't cook as much as I would like to, but I thought that today I would share with you one of my favorite dishes to make, the dish that people seem to like the most and stuff. And sorry you can't see me entirely, but this is more about the food than it is me. So okay, but I'm going to be making my cheesy taco chili, and I've already gone ahead and warmed up the hamburger. And while cooking the hamburger, you put in, it calls for like a fourth a cup of onion, but I like to just use a whole small onion. You don't have to, be specific with the amount. You could use the amount that you would like. And okay, so the hamburger and the onion are cooked, and I am going to be adding 2 cans of white kidney beans that have been rinsed off. You want to make sure that you rinse them, because sometimes some of that juice that's left in the can, it'll get stuck to the beans, and it'll make a few beans not taste as good as they would had they been rinsed off. So far we've got the hamburger and the onions and the beans, and right now I am going to open up a can of stewed tomatoes. I'm going to add those in here. It's just 1 can of 14.5 ounces of stewed tomatoes. Turn this back on. It would help if, I turn the right burner on, but it is what it is. So, okay. Hamburger and onions cooked. 2 cans of beans. Can of stewed tomatoes. Next item I'm going to put in is going to be 1 can of Rotel, the diced tomatoes and chilies item that there is. It's weird to be putting more tomatoes in when you just put tomatoes in, but it's just what it calls for. The next thing that I'm going to be putting in is I'm going to add, the recipe calls for 1/8 of a teaspoon of chili powder, and certainly 1/8 of a teaspoon is really not very much, so you can just add the amount that you want. If you want it more spicy, add a little more. If not, a lot of times, and I have to admit this, when I make this I tend to forget that, but I'm going to stir this up a little bit. Stir some of this around. I got a little bit left to add, but don't want the meat to burn. Next item I'm going to add is a jar of salsa. I prefer mild salsa over medium salsa, because while I like Mexican dishes and stuff, I don't generally like to have food that's too hot so I can't enjoy it. So we've got, to go over this once again, we've got the meat and the onion. There are 2 cans of red beans in here, a can of stewed tomatoes, a can of Rotel, and a 16 ounce jar of salsa, whichever temperature you would like to have. Set this here. The very next piece of the chili, and this is where the cheesy part of the cheesy taco chili comes in. It's Velveeta, and we're just gonna layer these in here. And I'm gonna give a shout out back home to a friend, Lisa, who's always talking about her chili and how great it is and stuff. Well, you can see my chili and how it's made, even though we've already had this conversation about this. I'm sure that this will outdo your chili any day. And on a side note, I can't get Carter to return my calls, so maybe you could let him or his sister know to have him call me. Maybe you'll get him to return my calls. I don't know. But anyways, not to get off track. So just stirring in the Velveeta that is slowly melting as you stir it around. This is going to be a good dish for the upcoming fall when it gets chilly, or if you happen to be having friends over to watch the Packers game, or should I say, like if you're a Vikings fan, a Vikings game, or whatever it is that your team may be. This is a good dish to have while watching some football. This cheese is just about melted. There is one more ingredient that I have to add, which may be a little weird considering the placement of the ingredient. The ingredient itself is not a weird item to put in chili, it's just putting it in now, so just give me a second. I had to go over to the refrigerator to get sour cream. This is an 8-ounce cup of sour cream. You can use light or regular. Chili is relatively a healthy food to eat, so I have light because you don't want to just, because you got the cheese in there, so you don't really want to ruin the healthiness of the food with just a bunch of fattening items that really aren't any good for you. Okay, cheese is melted. Give it one last little stir around. Didn't have my rubber spatula out, so I'm going to take the sour cream and I'm going to put it in here, and it is pretty much melting upon arrival in the pot. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this off. All the cheese is melted, all the ingredients are well blended together. To make this chili costs roughly the price of hamburger, and the Velveeta are the most, because it's 1 pound of Velveeta, which I got for about $5, and the hamburger was about $5.50 for just a little bit over a pound. Sometimes I like to put more meat or cheese in there. It just depended on my mood that day. I'm gonna scoop some out here. Let you take a look at it. Bowl. Tomato. Now I like this chili because it tends to be a thicker chili, and I don't know if you can zoom that in right there. I'm gonna get that in right there. Whoops. I don't know if you can see that or not. It is thicker. I made a little bit of a mess, but that's okay because you have to make a mess in the kitchen. So that's it. That is cheesy taco chili. It is a pound of hamburger or 2 pounds, whichever your mood is. You cook that with an onion, a can of stewed tomatoes, a can of Rotel, 2 cans of kidney beans, light or dark, rinsed. Make sure you rinse off the beans. Chili powder, a jar of salsa, and Velveeta and sour cream. And that is going to do it for this video. I thank you very much for watching, and have a good day.